We have a sickness. It's a quiet, invisible fever that has infected every corner of modern life. We call it the hustle. We've been conditioned to believe that if we aren't moving at 100 miles per hour, we are losing. If we aren't multitasking, we're lazy. If we aren't answering an email within 30 seconds, we're failing. But look at the cost. Look at the faces of the people on the street. Look at your own reflection. We are the most productive generation in history, yet we are also the most anxious, the most burnt out, and the most physically fragile. We are running a race where the finish line keeps moving. We are busy being busy, but when we look back at our month, our year, our lives, what have we actually built? Today, I'm going to tell you a story that contradicts everything you've been told about success. It's a story about a man who had to lose his speed to find his strength. By the end of this video, you will understand why slowing down is not a sign of weakness, it is the ultimate display of power. Meet Elias. Elias lived in the heart of Chicago. He was a high-frequency trader. His life was measured in milliseconds. He worked in a glass office that overlooked the city, a place where silence was considered a waste of money. Elias was proud of his speed. He bragged about sleeping 4 hours a night. He ate lunch while standing up. He had 3 monitors, 2 phones, and a mind that never turned off. To the outside world, he was the definition of strong. He was a winner. But strength is a funny thing. If you build a house with the best materials but you build it on a foundation of sand, it doesn't matter how beautiful the walls are. One day, the wind will blow, and the house will fall. For Elias, that wind came on a Tuesday afternoon. It started with a ringing in his ears. Then, the numbers on his screen began to blur. His chest felt like it was being crushed by an invisible hand. He tried to stand up, but his legs were like lead. He collapsed right there on the expensive hardwood floor. The diagnosis wasn't just stress. It was a total nervous system burnout. His body had been in fight or flight mode for 5 years straight. His doctor looked him in the eye and said, "Elias, your engine is redlining. If you don't downshift, you're going to blow the whole thing apart. You need to leave. Now." Elias was terrified. He thought, if I leave, I'll lose everything. Someone younger, faster, and hungrier will take my place. I'll become irrelevant. But he had no choice. He packed a bag and drove. He drove away from the sirens, away from the flickering screens, and into the deep, quiet wilderness of the Montana mountains. He was looking for a man named Silas, a legendary archer his grandfather had told him about. A man who was said to possess a strength that didn't come from muscles, but from something much deeper. When Elias found Silas, he was disappointed. Silas didn't look like a warrior. He was an old man with calloused hands and a calm face, sitting on a porch, carving a piece of wood. Elias walked up, still checking his phone, even though there was no signal, and said, "I need to learn how to be stronger. I'm burnt out, but I can't afford to be weak. Teach me your secrets so I can get back to my life." Silas didn't even look up. He just kept carving. An hour passed. Elias paced back and forth like a caged tiger. "Are you going to say something?" Elias demanded. Silas finally looked up and said, "You're still vibrating, Elias. You've brought the city with you. Go down to the river. Sit there. Don't come back until the river stops being loud." Elias thought it was a joke. But for 3 days, he sat by that river. At first, all he could hear was his own mind, the to-do lists, the anxieties, the what-ifs. But by the 4th day, something shifted. The noise in his head began to settle. He started to notice the way the light hit the water. He noticed the eagle circling above. He started to breathe. When he returned to the cabin, Silas was standing there with a massive longbow. It was carved from black yew wood. It looked heavy, ancient, and immovable. "String it," Silas commanded. Elias grabbed the bow. He used his gym-trained muscles. He grunted, he pulled, he jerked. He tried to force the bow to bend. But the wood didn't budge. He tried again, faster this time, his face turning red with effort. "It's impossible," Elias panted. "The wood is too stiff." "No," Silas said softly. "You are too fast. You're trying to use speed strength. But this bow requires slow strength. Watch." Silas took the bow. He didn't rush. He stood with a posture that seemed to weigh 1,000 pounds. He began to draw the string. It was agonizingly slow. You could hear the microscopic fibers of the wood groaning, creak, creak, creak. Silas wasn't fighting the bow, he was becoming a part of it. As he pulled back, his entire body was a picture of focused tension. It wasn't the frantic tension of a stressed man, it was the deliberate tension of a mountain. Silas whispered as he held the draw, "Elias, a bow is only as powerful as the tension it can hold. If you pull it back quickly, you create a shallow force. But if you draw it slowly, you store the energy in every fiber of the wood." Most people live their lives like a bow that is never fully drawn. They fire shallow shots, one after another, wondering why they never hit anything deep. Then, Silas released. The sound wasn't a snap, it was a crack like a lightning bolt. The arrow moved so fast it was invisible. It didn't just hit the target 100 yards away, it went through the center of the wooden target and buried itself deep into the tree behind it. "Speed is a byproduct of depth," Silas said. "If you want to be powerful, you must first learn to be still. You must learn to draw your life back slowly, with intention, before you release." Elias returned to Chicago, but he was a different man. He didn't go back to the 80-hour weeks. He stopped multitasking. He started his day with an hour of silence, drawing his bow, before he fired a single shot. People thought he had lost his edge. They thought he was getting soft. But then, the results started coming in. Because he was focused on one thing at a time, his work was flawless. Because he was calm, he could see opportunities that his competitors missed in their frantic rush. He became more successful than he had ever been, not by doing more, but by doing deeper. We are all archers in this life. But most of us are just throwing arrows with our hands, hoping they stick. Here is your blueprint for slow power. Eliminate the small arrows, look at your to-do list. 80% of it is noise. Stop firing shallow shots. Pick the one thing that actually matters and give it your full, slow attention. The 20-minute draw, before you start your day, sit in silence. No phone. No music. Just sit. Store your energy. Build your tension. Respect the tension. When things get hard, don't rush to fix them. Lean into the tension. Let it build your strength. Are you tired of being fast but weak? Are you ready to trade the hustle for the draw? I want you to leave a comment below with the word unstoppable if you are committing to slowing down to find your real strength. If this story moved you, share it with someone who is currently redlining their engine. They need to hear this. Subscribe for more stories on focus, stoicism, and real results. Remember, the harder the draw, the more powerful the release. Take your time. We'll see you in the next one.